Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome Valkyrie fans. Well, I waited a while to do this one. I mean, it's pretty late at night now. It's after 10. Watch the game, and I had it in my head that if we can keep it close, we might be able to pull it out in the end. And I thought Valhalla would give us that extra that we needed. And both teams were in each other's face in the first half, and the scoring was like, what was the halftime score, like 25-23 or something? It was something really low. Like, we've scored that, and I'm sure Atlanta has scored that in a quarter. But then the second half, man, the mash unit came out. Burton gets hit. It was probably like a hip pointer. It looked like she hit her right in the hip, and that could be, either that or she got the wind knocked out of her. So Burton goes down. Then you have Repair. Well, Repair, I think, went down first. So Repair goes down. Then Temmie gets in foul trouble, which, what's she going to do? You got Bree Jones and Brittany Griner. And you know what? Atlanta did what I would have done if I was their coach. I would have been like, put the ball inside to those two players. I mean, the Valkyries have no choice. It's like they're never going to be able to stop that. And we couldn't. We just hope they missed or keep them out of the paint as much as possible. And, after the last couple of games, those were less talented teams. And we won. And we did what we were supposed to do. I was really hoping we could get this one. And, we beat them last time. But this is where you see we need Kayla Thornton and Mo Billings. Because we got out-rebounded. And, in the first half, Atlanta shot like crap. They were shooting like crap, and I was like, oh boy, they're not hitting threes. This is good for us. And, but we weren't hitting anything either. And I thought, oh no, here we go. But as long as they weren't hitting him, I thought we'd be okay. Well, then they started going inside to Bree, and then Bree Jones is such a big body, she's like leaving, a mash unit. She hit Repair in the neck or the jaw or something. And she had to go out in concussion protocol. And I'm like, oh boy, now we got Temmie in foul trouble. We got Repair. But you know what? The good thing that came out of that? Amir got to play. And you know what? She did okay. She had one where she lost control of the ball. But you know what? She did okay. I mean, defensively, when she got a block near the end of the game, maybe this will get her, the good thing that may come out of this is maybe it'll get her some more playing time. I know there's a lot of fans that are clamoring for her to play more because she's so athletic. You know what? We'll see. And you look at the other games that are happening, and the only teams we really need to worry about are Indiana, Seattle, and who's right below us? Crap, I can't think of it. We're 7 now. Yes, it's basically Indiana and Seattle. As long as they have really tough games coming up, and Seattle lost again today. Indiana won in overtime. But they got to play they have some really tough games coming up. And we have a few. I'm hoping we can split with Phoenix. I mean, when I was kind of mapping this out, this was one of those, well, we'll probably lose this game. I was hoping we could get this one. That would put us just to give us that little bit of cushion. But Phoenix, coming up, we're playing Phoenix on Tuesday and Friday. But you know what? That's not the only games for them. They got to play Vegas on Thursday. So the second time we play Phoenix, I wish that the home and away was different. We're playing them at home first. But you know what? We'll see. But if somehow we can eke out a win against Phoenix in the first game, and then they go and they battle with Vegas, they're going to be tired after that one. But then we have to go to Phoenix on Friday. But it's a back-to-back for them. That's why I'm thinking, we might split with them. If we can split with them, then we have Washington, we've got Seattle, we have Indiana. All three of those teams we can beat. And then we end the season. We have a game with New York, which that one's going to be tough. And then we have 2 with Minnesota. And we have a Dallas game. But the last game of the season is against Minnesota. You think they're not going to be sitting people? I mean, they may not. And, who knows? Who knows what the last game of the season will look like? But the 2 games against Minnesota are like the last 3 games of the season. And they've already clinched. So it may come down to whether they need the game or not to keep first place. But, I mean, they have like a 7-game lead. And Atlanta's going to lose, I would think, because they have some tough games coming up. Phoenix is going to lose. And they're the 2. And New York, who knows what will happen. I mean, New York's playing Minnesota again next time. So, and New York has 13 losses, I think. So, a lot of this, I don't know. It's, and then I'm looking at, okay, who are we better off going up against? I'm assuming we're going to make the playoffs unless we go into a free fall. But do we want to? We don't want to be an 8th. You don't want to be 8th because you don't want to play Minnesota. So, okay, do we want 7th or 6th? And I'm starting to think about that. Okay. Right now, 7th plays us against Atlanta again. 8th means New York. Maybe we should just be happy we make the playoffs. These teams are really hard to beat. I mean, they have all-stars. They have, tonight we faced Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard was the number 1 pick in the draft. 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Ryan Howard's a terrific player. And to beat a team, and then Alicia Clark we held Alicia Clark. I mean, she shot badly. Although Atlanta started making their shots in the second half. And then they were going inside, and then their 3-pointers were opening up. And Howard shot 50% from the floor. But you have, Alicia Gray was 2 for 10 from 3. Naz Hillman was 0 for 6. But Ryan Howard, 4 for 8. We gave her a couple of open threes in the second half, and that just killed us. And you could, it was so deflating. We'd get, and then everybody's getting injured, and people are getting whacked, and Tiffany Hayes got hit in the face again, a couple times, but you got to hand it to Atlanta. Atlanta was playing really tough defense. We couldn't get open shots. You couldn't get Xander Lassini. I mean, we have got to develop a specific offensive play. I don't care if you have to set 4 friggin' picks for her. Get her open so she can shoot get that 3. And then Salon kind of disappeared in this game. And this is where you see the young players, and Carla Late, who in the past has been, she's had some good games. You're looking at the points. Atlanta had 5 players in double figures. They weren't very high. The leading scorer is not Ryan Howard with 14 points. 14 points. That's all she had. So I mean, the third quarter especially, our defense let us down. But how long are you going to hold these guys down? They're in second place in the league. I mean, we did get 1 win out of them. Actually, Veronica Burton was the high scorer for the game. She had 16 points. She kept driving to the hoop, getting fouled. She was 7 for 7 from the line. And then the only other one in double figures was Xander Lassini with 11 points. But she only took 5 3-pointers. She was 2 for 5. She was 3 for 10 overall, though. I don't remember her taking 10 shots. Well, that would have been 5 2-point shots. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. But, Temi, she had 8 points. She had a couple great drives to the hoop. But the thing that we were really missing, and you could see it glaringly in this game, was rebounding. And when Atlanta was missing all those shots in the first half, they were all careening way out, and they'd get the ball back. I was looking at this on the stats here. The second chance points, 17-6 they out. And a lot of that was in the first half when they were missing those threes. And the ball's going right back to them. We're running around trying to grab a rebound. We couldn't grab it because it's flying back out. So, anyway, I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, it was because we were doing so well, and we just didn't shoot well. I mean, they didn't shoot well either. 41% they shot. We shot 35%. They made 28 baskets. We made 21. They were 9 for 35 from three. So they took way more threes than we did. 25%. We took 29, and we made 7 of them. We were 24%. The foul shots were even, exactly even. Both teams were 14 for 16. So I don't know, that third quarter just deflated us. Because we were right there. It was like a real battle. Especially defensively. You had two good defensive teams battling it out. And then they start going to Bree Jones. And it's not even that she scored a ton of points. She had 13 points, but she had 9 rebounds. And she only took 6. She was 3 for 6, but she went to the foul line 8 times. She was 7 for 8 from the foul line. So they had 6 blocks. We had 4. Amir got 2 of them. One right in the end of the game. That was nice. So we'll just go through. I'm just going to go through this quick. It's late. Points in the paint. They outdid us by 12, 38 to 26. The second chance points. Turnovers were good. We had 9. They had 10. Points off turners were nothing to speak of. It was basically they started hitting their 3-point shots and then going into Bree Jones and Brittany Griner. Those 2 things killed us. We just didn't, Repair was probably the only big body we could put up against Bree Jones, and then she got clocked. So, at that point I knew the likelihood of us winning was slim. But I thought, okay, well, maybe if we could start hitting some threes, and we, because we got some stops there for a while. In the beginning of the fourth quarter, we got stops. They were missing some shots. And I'm like, okay, come on, let's hit a 3. Drive to the hoop and get a foul or something. Get them in foul trouble. And we just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. But you know what? I was not overly confident we would win this game. So, just looking at some points. Caldwell for them had 4 points. Naz Hillman, I'm sorry. She had 5 points. That was fouls. Naz Hillman had 12. She was 0 for 6. She killed us in that 2 games ago when we played Atlanta. She killed us right at the end of the game. But she didn't hit her 3-point shots in this one. A lot of them didn't. The only one that did was Ryan Howard. Bree Jones had 13. Alicia Gray had 13. And like I said, she was 2 for 10 from threes. She also had some foul. Well, no, she only had 3. Those were in the first half, though. I was hoping we could get them in foul trouble. Like, if we had gotten a couple of key players in foul trouble, that would have helped a lot. But we just couldn't do it. So, Ryan Howard, 14 points. She had 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Pow Pow had 10 points. She was 4 for 8. She shot well. She was 2 for 5 from 3. She hit a couple of those. Griner had 8 points. She was 4 for 7. She had 6 rebounds. She had a block, a turnover, and an assist. Then you had Coffee with 4 points, and that was it for them. And then we go to us. We have a lot of negative plus or minuses for us, which that's sad. Anyway, Salon only had 5 points. She played 28 minutes. She just wasn't, she only took 7 shots. 5 points. So, and this is probably just her being a rookie. It's there's times where she's just not aggressive enough. Need her to be, go to the hoop, drive to the hoop. But it was hard to drive on them. They made that difficult. So you got to hand it to Atlanta. Zandalicini, 11 points. It would be, like I said, just nice for her to get some plays to get her an open look. And she doesn't even need to be completely open. She shoots right over people. Fagbenley had 8, but she only played 14 minutes because she got in foul trouble and, but she was 4 for 9. A couple nice drives to the hoop. And then they gave her the ball. She had a smaller player on her, and 2 dribbles up, score. That was really nice to see. I wish she would do that more. Burton had 16 points. She didn't shoot very well either. She was 1 for 5 from 3, 4 for 10. She made most of her points at the foul line. Hayes, she had a bad night. She was 1 for 9, 1 for 5 from 3, 4 points. She had 2 steals, 3 assists. And then Repair had a 3 she made before she got hurt. Kate Martin, she hit a 3 at the end of the game. And she had a couple nice plays. 7 points. She got some decent playing time this time. 21 minutes she got in there. And then Carla only had 2. She only took 1 shot. Just a 3. And that was it. But she's missing that driving to the hoop. Like, do the pick and then boom, drive. She had 2 assists and 2 rebounds. And then Amihir got 7 points. I thought she scored more than that. But she was 3 for 4, and then she went to the foul line and made 1 out of 2. She had 5 rebounds. I mean, for the time she played, she was in 13 minutes. You know, I was a little worried about her. Just because, you know, when the coach isn't playing, you're like, okay, something's going on here. But, you know what? She was pretty strong. I mean, she got in there and got some rebounds, and then she drove to the hoop. She did good. So I'm hoping that this gives her more playing time, and I hope that we can rotate the 3 of them, you know, or put 2 of them in at the same time. Put Repair in for the outside shot, put Temi in for defense, and put Amihir in for driving to the hoop and getting rebounds. You know, that's the big thing we're missing from Kayla Thornton. She was in there getting those rebounds. You know, we rebounded everyone when she was playing, and Mo Billings too. We definitely need that. So Charles got in, her and Caitlin Chen got in the last minutes. And the only thing, Caitlin Chen got a rebound. And that was that. They out-rebounded us 38-27. So, yeah, a lot of those were, you know, they got 10 offensive rebounds that just were in the first half, just flying back to them because they were missing threes. So, anyway, well, let's hope we can do something against Phoenix. You know, as long as we can hold the 6 or 7 position in the playoffs, then, you know, I'll be happy. I would hope that we could get to 6 because, I don't know, the Fever have a lot of injuries, and then Sophie Cunningham got injured today, so I don't see them I don't see them moving up. But who knows, if Caitlin Clark comes back, that could change things. But she's been out for so long, I would think that it would throw off their chemistry. But who knows? And then, you know, the Sparks lost, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if they're too far down to make a run. They'd have to basically win out, I think. So it's basically the Storm and Indiana. You know, and then who knows about if the Mystics won today, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, they're a couple games behind us, though. But if they win out, you know, I doubt any team's going to win out because everybody's fighting like crazy right now. So, anyway, Atlanta is now solidly in second place with a record of 22-12. And we have dropped to 18-16. And we're a half game behind the Fever. They are 19-16. So we'll see. We got to do well against Phoenix. If we can do well in those games, just based on what Phoenix's schedule is, that would be a big boost if we can get those 2 games. But even if we just split, that'd be terrific. So Valkyrie fans, we just got to take this one on the chin and move on. So, okay. Well, good game, Atlanta. Gotta hand it to them. So we'll see you next time.